The Kentucky basketball transfer portal was full of moves, and Kentucky received 3 new recruits.
Jalon Lowe from Pittsburgh, averaging 17 points per game. Mohamed Diabate from Bama, who put up 7 points per game and 5 rebounds. And Jaden Quintance, who averaged 9 points per game and 8 rebounds and 2 blocks.
And speaking of the Wildcats and Mark Pope, I heard that he just got a nice little chunk of change. Because Pope and the team reached the Sweet 16 this season, he got an automatic 1-year contract extension. And sticking to contract agreements, his salary will increase by $250,000 every year of his contract, which all means Pope earned himself another year of $250,000. So now Mark Pope's contract will run through the 2029-2030 season, and additionally, per his contract agreement, for any season which UK makes it to the Sweet 16, his contract will automatically extend 1 more season, as long as there are no more than 5 seasons remaining on that contract at the time.
Speaking of men's hoops, ESPN just released their way too early top 25 for the 25-26 season. The Cats come in preseason number 6, which is a pretty good outlook. Thoughts heading into the season. Although it is a good look, it doesn't really mean a whole lot considering the champions were just crowned on Monday and no roster is officially set at least until the fall. So I'm just going to take it as their early predictions, and you can't really take any of them too seriously.
Well, that was a lot of basketball news, and Ethan, I get the feeling you have some opinions to share on it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the recruits are really great, but Jalon Lowe seems kind of inefficient with his shootings and seems to have want to have the ball in his hands a lot, and Kentucky uses a lot of 5 wide with a ton of movement, and I think he can be a little inefficient.
See, I have to disagree with you there because Jalon Lowe in Pittsburgh, he was the main bucket getter. You're gonna get inefficient when you're the main guy and everyone's looking to you to score. So I really just have to disagree with you there.
Yeah, I think Mohamed Diabate is going to be a very solid pickup and can get a lot of solid use out of him. I don't know if Alabama particularly used him that well, so I think he can reach his full potential. I think he's going to be a good defensive presence. He plays a lot bigger than he is.
Oh yeah, he's only about what, 6'7", and he averages 7 and 6 on 61% shooting. And what I love about him so much is that he's going to dunk the ball every single time down the stretch. And I think Mark Pope is going to find a great way to utilize him, unlike Bama did this past season.
I completely agree. And then finally, Jaden Quintance will be very solid in a few years. He's really, really young. The only bone to pick I have with him is he chased money. He's really young, so it's understandable. But now he wants to come back. I'm like, But I do think he's going to be a really solid defensive guy and, play some big minutes and be a very, very solid glue guy as his game's developed over this last year.
No, he's young. If I got $300,000 extra thrown in my face, I would take it too. But aside from that, averaging 9 and 8 and 2 blocks, the 6'9", 6'10" guy, he's going to be a great defensive paint presence along with Malachi Moreno and Mo Diabate. It's going to be great for the Wildcats.
Yeah, some standouts from the ESPN list kind of talking about that. I think all eyes are going to be on Provo next season as #1 recruit A.J. DeBanta arrives to suit up for the Cougars, and the return of Richie Saunders. And head coach Kevin Young has definitely developed, this pipeline of just kind of pouring out NBA prospects, and I truly think they're going to be a problem. I really think, they're going to be in a lot of conversations for the Big 12 and, more championships after that.
I think they're going to be in talks of championships all year. And another thing I want to look out for, Kentucky has been given an early preseason number 6, and they could be loaded on the perimeter next season with the arrival of transfers. And on top of all that, the potential return of their leading scorer, Otega Owe, and rotational players like Colin Chandler and Travis Perry. Mark Pope needs a couple more options up front aside from that, but Monday's commitment from Alabama transfer Mo Diabate and all the others give the Wildcats some toughness and versatility. Overall, it's really too early to tell how these teams will play out next season, and we should expect these rankings to change a lot before the start of next season.
I completely agree. I truly think it's one of those where we could have a lot of potential, and, depending how they come together and kind of glue like this year's team did, I think it'll be really, really solid.
Absolutely.